Alright, so welcome back to the channel. And before we get started, this video is all about Realty Income. But before we get started on that, let me say something. Alright, let me say something for everybody who is watching my channel. Everybody who finds my channel and watches it. Listen, first of all, let me thank all of the new subscribers. And let me address you all first. I really do appreciate people that rock with me and that roll with me just off the strength of my channel, right? Just off the strength of my personality, what I bring. If you feel like I'm adding some type of value, those are the things I appreciate. But let me get it. Let me talk to you other people. Let me talk to you other. Listen, this is not your typical finance channel, all right? What do I mean by that? This is not the channel where you get to come in here and say whatever you want to say in my comments and I just let that shit roll off my shoulders. No. Listen, I am not the guy who does what y'all tell me to do. I am not the guy who does what anybody tells him to do. I'm the guy who decides what he invests in, when he's going to invest in it. Meaning none of what y'all say can sway me or my opinion or what I invest in. And I employ that everyone who watches my content should do the exact same thing. Invest in what works for you. Fuck what everybody else has to say. Listen, nobody is going, at the end of the day, nobody is going to either, whether it's benefit, win, lose, or draw, nobody is going to have to deal with that but you, okay? So if you invest off of the strength of what somebody else told you to do, off of what I told you to do, or what somebody else said, don't invest in that, don't invest in that. Listen, y'all got to learn how to grow a goddamn backbone and invest in the things that you want to invest in for the reasons that you want. And when you do that, nobody can tell you what not to invest in. All right. So let me establish that first and foremost. And the people that I'm talking to are the people that are showing up in the comments and trying to tell me, oh, you're the type of investor that should just listen to other people. Fuck you. All right. So anyway, let's get started on today's episode. Just had to put a little quick PSA out there for all the people that want to come in here and tell me what I should do. This is my channel. This is my channel. This is my work. This is my investment journey, not yours. If you want to document your own investment journey, then go document that shit. But this is mine. All right. So, sorry. Now, I got to apologize to all the people who have been watching because you all certainly don't deserve that. That's for the people who have always something negative to say in the comments. I got something for y'all. And I'm going to have something for y'all every episode, I promise you. All right, so why are we here? Well, we're here to talk about Realty Income. Realty Income, one of the greatest dividend stocks in the world. Now, the interesting thing about Realty Income is that although the stock itself is based solely around investing in properties and real estate, its mass appeal, its mass appeal stretches much farther than just that. Why? Because the properties that they're investing in reaches out and stretches out to triple net lease businesses that are owned by Walgreens, CVS. I believe there's some Sam's Clubs in there, maybe some Walmart. So listen, Realty Income is a big deal. Now, a couple things I want to touch on here. First, let's talk about the good news. Good news. The good news is that on May 17th, hold on, let me bring up my screen recorder here. Good news is that on May 17th of 2024, Realty Income Corporation announced a 2.1% increase to its common stock monthly cash dividend, raising it from 0.25 cents to basically 26 cents per share. Now, those numbers may seem small to you at first, but listen, first of all, you got to recognize that any increase, any increase is better than no increase. And remember that it's an increase for you doing absolutely nothing, right? For you sleeping at home in your bed, nice and snug in your bed, you're getting a raise. So you got to remember that, all right? So it went up roughly almost 1 cent per share. This increase will be paid out on June 14th of 2024 to stockholders of record as of June 3rd, 2024. And it is the 125th time that Realty Income has increased its dividends since listing the NICE in 1994. That means with a record of 30 years, okay, with a record of 30 years, they have increased their dividend 125 times. That is absolutely incredible. The company also has a history of increasing its dividend quarterly with 106 consecutive quarters of increases as of March 2024. Now, I mentioned triple net lease earlier. And for those of you that don't know what a triple net lease is, a triple net lease is basically when you have property and you lease it out to another company who buys into that property. They want to put their business there. And then that company takes on all of the associated costs to run that business, meaning they're taking on the electric, they're taking on the commercial value of the space, they're taking on the property tax. All of that goes onto whatever business is leasing that property from you, which means it's less money out of your pocket up front that you don't have to pay. The business takes over all of that, right? So I want to switch over here. I got Realty Income pulled up here, and because I'm in Michigan, I'm going to click on the glove. In the glove alone, okay, Realty Income has 572 different properties at a 2.6% total portfolio, or 2.6% of their portfolio resides in Michigan. All right. So 572 different properties in my state alone. Now, here is the negative. Okay, we talked about the good. We talked about the dividend increase. We talked about how many properties they have. If you go to the main page, let's go over to what we do. You can see here they have over 15,000 net lease agreements currently that are active. Okay, they've got an A- credit rating. They've got they're in 89 separate industries. So there's your diversification, right? Your diversification across multiple industries. And their gross real estate book value is $56 billion. That is capital B. So now listen, we're talking about all the good things, right? There's Home Depot. We all know Home Depot, the number one source for home improvement. Guess what? They got to pay Realty Income for that property that they're sitting on, right? So listen, we're talking about all the good things, right? But I want to talk about some of the bad as well. Well, if you consider it bad, it's all in how you look at it, and it's all in what you want to do. See, this is the same thing that I was talking about with the last video I did on NVIDIA. And everybody went crazy in the comments, right? I got comments out the wazoo talking about, you don't know what you're talking about. NVIDIA is not overpriced. It's going to go to the moon, man. It's going to go crazy. Listen, my job here is not to tell you all what to invest in. That's not why I'm here. My job is to give you options as to what you want to invest in. Maybe you want to have 2 or 3 different options to invest in instead of just the one, right? My job is to provide you with different pathways to get to your goal. That's all I'm here for. I'm not telling you what to invest in directly. I would never tell you all that because everybody's investment style and purpose is different, right? So with that in mind, going forward, I pulled up Realty Income on the stock analysis website. And I just really quickly want to click on the 5 years. That 5-year chart, okay? That 5-year chart is down 23%. Over 23%, meaning if you had invested in this company over the past 5 years, had been invested for the past 5 years, you would have been down 23%, which means you are not seeing any stock appreciation at all. In fact, it's going the complete opposite way. Now, what that does not factor in, of course, is your dividend payouts, which Realty Income is a monthly paying dividend stock. that matters. Why? Your compounding, that compounding dividend income happens a lot faster versus quarterly, right? So, over the course of the last 5 years, y'all, Realty Income has not been a great investment in terms of stock appreciation and growth. Now, you consider hindsight is always 2020. So we always can look back and look at a bevy of different stocks that we could have put our money in 5 years ago. And today we'd be up like crazy, right? Hindsight is always 2020. It's always going to work that way. But I want you to understand that when you're investing in Realty Income, you are investing for the dividend income mostly, okay? Depending on the ground floor, whatever level that you get on the elevator at, listen, it matters, okay? And right now, with the stock being at some of its all-time lows of $51 may be a price point that you might want to check in if you're looking to acquire Realty Income, okay? If you're looking to acquire Realty Income, a price point of $51.17 might be the entry level that you're looking for. If you go and look at their base, what's the base over the last 5 years? $42. $42.25. So what's that? A $9 difference. So its lows, which was back during the week of March 30th of 2020. It's lowest form that we've seen in the past 5 years has been $42.25. And again, that was back 4 years ago in 2020. So considering that, okay, you have to decide for yourself. Listen, am I investing for dividends? Am I investing for growth? Do I want a little bit of both? You have to decide. You are the decider. And before we get out of here, go over to their financials. You can see their revenue growth year over year has done nothing but improve. Okay, their revenue growth is in the green. If you slide all the way down here to shares outstanding, their shares outstanding are increasing. That is typically something that you do not want to see, right? Your shares outstanding. What does shares outstanding mean? Shares outstanding basically means the total amount of common stock that are held by people like you and I, right? The common investor. And if that stock, if more shares are being issued out, it's basically like having a pizza and you're cutting that pizza up into smaller pieces and giving it out to more and more people, which means my piece of the pie becomes smaller, right? So you're looking at some diluted shares here over the course of the, past 5 years. And I typically do not like to see that. So that's a red flag for me. Not a red flag, but it's just a negative, right? Where we want to go is the free cash flow. How much cash flow are y'all working with? The cash flow is a mother lode. Negative. They're in the negative. And they've been in the negative for the past 5 years. Now, that we have to take into account that doesn't 100% mean that this business isn't profitable, because we have to factor in all the acquisitions that they've been making over the past 5 years. So you see that dividend growth has been growing every single year, even though it's by a small margin. But listen, that is where we are right now. If you let's go to the not the balance sheet. Let's go to the cash flow directly. Free cash flow is in the negative, y'all. That's never good. We don't want to be there for too long, right? Because if you have no cash flow, if your cash flow is negative, right? If your cash flow is negative for an extended period of time, that means you ain't making no money. You're just losing money. You're spending money and you're losing money. You ain't making none. No business can sustain that way, right? So lastly, let's go to the forecast. Forecast, average target of $61.32. That's over $10 of what it is right now. Okay, that's on average what they say it should be, with a low estimate of 48 and a high estimate of 74, which would make them, according to 14 different analysts, that would currently make this a buy. But listen, again, these analysts are regular people like you and I. You have to assess this stock for yourself and decide for yourself if this is something that you want to invest in and why you are investing into it. All right. But quick video today that I wanted to put out. I got another one coming, and we're going to talk about some other stocks too. We're going to get into some other things on this channel. But I appreciate each and every one of you who have been supportive, who have been positive in the comments. I appreciate y'all. Now hit a like and subscribe for that algorithm, and I'll see y'all in the next video.